Welcome everybody back to the Tape Deck, the show where we talk about the golden era of hip hop. As you already know, or you slow, we talking about the 90s. We're going to get into the music, the style, the whole culture, the sound, everything involved. We're not just your hosts, we're your 90s hip hop family. I'm Money Carson.
And I'm Cash Only J.
Only.
And today we're going to discuss the independent label. We're going to get some facts, some feelings. We're going to figure out whether the independent label is a myth or isn't it a myth.
This hip hop Mythbusters.
But Money Carson is just going to give some details and some facts on, a couple of these independent or so-called independent labels. So we're going to let him pour into this and, enjoy the ride.
All right.
Hit that subscribe button.
Off the rip, let's get into the definition, right? An independent record label or indie label is a record label that operates without the funding or distribution of a major record label. So that means if we make this record, we're going to use our mind for the planning, our mind for the marketing, our own dollars for the marketing, the promotion, and we're going to sell it ourselves without getting the major to give us no advance money, no budget, no nothing. We are the budget. That classifies you as an independent label. And I feel like a certain independent labels, and if you're not watching and you're just listening, I did the air quotes. I feel like certain independent labels, no knock to them or their success, should not have been classified as independent labels. So let's start with a label that I feel 1,000% was an independent label, and we're gonna go with No Limit Records. Make them say, nah, 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 nah.
Mama there, P there. But nah, seriously. What makes them or what defines them as an independent label?
All right, so look, they was founded in 1990 by Master P. Shout out Percy Miller, jack of all trades. The first couple artists that they had that were notable was just Cain and Abel and Mystical, right? They didn't sign their distribution deal with Priority until 1995, 1996. So that's 5 to 6 years where they had to work directly off the muscle. Now, Master P had a record shop, and amongst all the records that all the record shops were selling, he would put his artist projects in there too, right, which was brilliant. On top of that, they was pulling up to all the functions, all the parties, all the whatever's going on in the city, the carnival, whatever they was doing. They was pulling up in cars, deep, music blasting, popping the trunk, had their own posters that they paid for, telling everybody, yo, come check this heat out. This is the hottest thing on the streets. That is an independent movement. That is the definition of a real street team. So with that, they was selling tens of thousands of CDs. Right. That's independent. So from 1990 to 1995/96, that label was independent. Then they got Mystical. Mystical went platinum. Then they had Snoop, 500K in 3 months off that last Don album. This is all in the 90s. Then they signed their distro deal with Priority. Now, back then, distribution deals was different than distribution deals today. If we get a distribution deal today, all they're gonna do is upload our stuff online, which we could do ourselves. Right. Anybody, you could beatbox in your phone, record it, and upload it, and you got distribution, your own. So it wouldn't make sense today. But back then, for anybody that don't know, you couldn't just get your album in stores. You couldn't just cut a record and put it in the stores. That was the only way to get the music in the 90s. There was no Napster or no SoundCloud and no Spotify and none of that. Nothing was digital. So the distribution deal, although it didn't come with a big advance or money 9 times out of 10, it put you in the stores. Once you're in the stores, now you just got to promote and let people know you in the stores. Right. So even in 95, 96 with their distro deal, they was still pushing off the muscle. They was promoting off the muscle. That's all off of Master P and his brother's dime. So that's why they are the true definition of an independent label in my book. If y'all feel some other type of way, feel free to drop it in the comments, the whole shebang, and let me know if you think we wrong or I'm wrong. But I feel like No Limit is the true definition, the truest of the quote-unquote independent labels as a real independent label.
So, like, all right, and I'm a big fan of Jay Prince. He hollers at, Rap a Lot at one time was a independent label, or maybe still is. I mean,
Well,
what do you think about that?
Them too. Rap a Lot, founded by Jay Prince in 1986. They landed a distro deal with Priority in 1990. So I give them credit for the 4 years of the muscle work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had Ghetto Boys. They had Big Mike. That's what they had. In 1993, they dropped Big Mike's album, and that went top 40 Billboard.
Right.
And that's all for the muscle. That's all for their promotion. Yes, they had a distro deal in 90, but they still had to promote and market that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
They still had to use their own money and jump from city to city and say, yo, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is Rap a Lot. In 94, they signed their joint venture with Virgin Records. Excuse me. To me, right then and there, the era of the independent is over, because now you partnered with a major label.
Right.
Now you have the money, and you have the not your money, you have their money to push forward with your muscle. I don't know the ins and outs because I don't know Jay Prince. And again, like I said, Joe, I'm not taking nothing away from him. But right then and there, to me, that deal, that's when it all stops. Ghetto Boys was signed to Rap a Lot, but they were also signed to Geffen Records. At the time, Geffen was considered a major label. Mind Playing Tricks on You, Mind Playing Tricks on Me, that went #1 on Billboard. So they had some real success.
Right.
And they had some real success before the distro deal, and then that deal, that joint venture deal with Virgin, made them have even more success. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So where I would give No Limit a score of 98 out of 100 being independent, I would actually give Rap a Lot 87 out of 100 being independent. And if y'all want to rank it and rate it and debate it, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, yo, make sure y'all push the subscribe and the like button. Don't hit no dislikes, or you know what I mean. I will personally, let me stop that. Anyway, well, all right, because I want to be serious about Puff Daddy, Puff Diddy.
Well, let's actually wait. I know we was that's let's save Puff for last.
Okay.
Let's get into Cash Money.
Cash Money.
Let's get into the Army, better yet the Navy.
Yeah.
Cash Money Records. Shout out to Baby and Slim. They was founded in 1991. They didn't have huge success until about 1996, 1997. That's when they put out BG's album. That touched #17 on Billboard. That's when they created the Hot Boys, which was Lil Wayne, Juvie, BG, and Turk. They sold 400,000 copies off rip. But let me backtrack a little bit. They was founded in 91. All the independent work that they did, they sold between 80 and 200,000 copies. That's not easy to do out the trunk of your car. That's not easy to do at the local barbecues and whatnot. So again, they got their momentum independently. That was what they did off they muscle and they dime.
Right.
But then they got that crazy distribution deal with Universal. And shout out to Baby and Slim, because they actually were one of the first people to get the 70-30 split.
Right.
70 to them, 30 to the label.
Right.
Back then, it would usually go 20% to the artist, 80% to the label. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what's crazy, and I gotta make a confession because I was just an ignorant idiot at that time. I thought that they were roped in with Master P. I thought they were No Limit. Like
Believe it or not, a lot of people thought that.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that. But nah, they wasn't. Now, in 98, that's when Cash Money set the bar dumb high, because that's when they got the $30 million deal with Universal, joint venture. They caught $3 million in advance, and they got to keep 50% of their publishing and own 100% of their masters. That is a boss independent move. Even though you're going and teaming up with a major, nobody was getting that back then.
Right.
But as an independent label, they built up such steam and such demand for their artists and their sound, I'll call it, that the major had to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that was crazy. That was crazy. They went on to have over 20 records in the top Billboard 100 with the deal. Yeah. And they sold over 100,000 copies altogether. Over. They didn't give me an actual number, but over. I'm sorry, I said 100,000. I meant 500,000.
Somebody in the comments, can y'all just give us some clarity if y'all have any information on this topic about Cash Money? Because
In case some of y'all don't know who the Hot Boys was, again, that was Turk, Lil Wayne, BG, and Juvenile. Remember Juvenile's record, huh? That was one of the first records that down south artists that Jay-Z hopped on.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
That was smart. That was very smart of Jay-Z to appeal to the Southerners. He was doing that a lot too. Like he would jump on.
But he wasn't doing it with the down south dudes. That came from left field. Okay. He was getting on features at that moment in that year, but it was most East Coast. It wasn't no down south. Nobody ever thought they was going to hear Juvie on the record with Jay-Z.
Well, no. I'm saying like when he did that, then he turned around and did the joint with BG and A-Ball, Big Pimpin'. Well, that was his. But you know what I mean?
A-Ball and MJG.
Yeah, MJG.
No, that was Pimp C and Bun B.
Oh yeah, damn, I'm
Big
tripping.
Pimpin'. Yeah. It's all right.
Slap me over the head.
Listen, it's a lot of music out here, man. You know what I'm saying? But again, so look, what I gave No Limit a 90, what I said, 98?
98.
Out of 100. I gave Rap A Lot Records an 86, 87 out of 100.
Right.
I'm going to give Cash Money an 83 out of 100 for being independent. Because that major deal y'all signed was bananas, but that's a compliment. That ain't a knock. Now we can get to your boy.
Oh, why you gotta be my boy?
Because you brought him up.
All right, okay.
Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy.
Take that.
Currently known as Brother Love.
Take that.
Bad Boy. This is where I wanted to get to.
Okay.
I believe Bad Boy's independence is a myth. Again, no knock to Bad Boy's success. I'm a Bad Boy fan. I loved Biggie. I love Junior Mafia. Like I was bad boyed out back then, like everybody else.
They weren't bad boy though.
They weren't. Yes, they were, but they weren't. It's guilty by association.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? But look, Sean Combs, Bad Boy, actually started in '92 with Uptown Records. That was Andre Harrell's label. Then he got fired, so then he started it on his own in '92, 93. He started on his own. In the same year, 1993, though, he did the deal with Arista and Clive Davis. So right then and there, you are not independent.
Right.
To me, let's go by the definition. I'm going to read the definition again in case any of y'all tuned into the episode late. An independent record label is a record label that operates without the funding or distribution of major record labels. You started your label in 92. In 93, you did your deal with Clive Davis and Arista Records. In 94, you dropped your first major record, Flavor in Your Ear. You did get a Grammy nomination for Craig Mack. The record did go platinum. In 95, that's when you dropped Biggie's Ready to Die, 4 times platinum. Again, this is all amazing stuff. Not taking nothing away from the label, but I don't feel like that's an independent label. That's not an independent movement. You had marketing dollars, promotion dollars, and you had the machine promoting alongside with you. Now let's double back to No Limit, to Rap A Lot, and to Cash Money. To get their momentum, they had no machine.
Right.
It was just them and what they could think of that they could do, what they could figure out, where they could go. There was no machine saying, hey, we have the recipe and we have the force to push this forward. Bad Boy had that off the rip.
Yeah, they did. They
had that off the rip. So were they really an independent label? No. What happened was people started confusing the fact that they misusing the term independent label. So if you weren't one of the 4 or 5, however many, if you weren't Sony, if you weren't Universal, if you weren't one of them, people were calling you an indie label. And too many people got credit for being an indie label that weren't an indie label. If we make a label right now and we call it Money Cash Records, Carson Cash Records, whatever you want to call it, and tomorrow we go get a distribution deal from a major label, or we go get a deal, a joint venture, we were never independent.
Oh, I like 70-30 now.
But they didn't go 70-30. That was Cash Money.
I know. No, I'm just saying.
And shout out to Universal for doing that big deal with Cash Money.
I'm just stuck on it.
In 1995, Bad Boy was awarded by Billboard to be the #1 rap label. In 1996, they redid their contract and did a joint venture with Arista. So that means they split everything 50-50. Even currently today, their annual sales are average of $100 million. So
that
like
back.
again, like I said, I ain't knocking Bad Boy. Y'all just wasn't independent.
But just listen to what you said. When they became #1, like that created beef. Like people wanted
1995,
them. Yeah.
#1 rap label by Billboard.
People was like, yo, you ain't got no love for Death Row. You don't want nobody getting up on the radio or getting on the stage and dancing and carrying on or
You
whatever.
don't want
Come
to
to
be in
Death
the
Row.
videos. So
Yeah.
look, let me give them my ranking. No Limit was a 98. Rap A Lot was a 87. I think I said Cash Money was what, a 76? Nah, 84.
No, you said 83.
Yeah, give him an 83. For independence, I'm gonna have to give Bad Boy a 44.
I was ready to say, yeah.
I give you 1,000 out of 1,000 for your career, your longevity,
Right.
and the product. But y'all was not an independent label. The idea was an independent label, but y'all were not an independent label.
They already had like mojo going on from Uptown, really.
I won't even give him that credit because he got fired from Uptown, and there was no record that came out. Not a record that was notable.
Well, I mean,
What record
people
came
knew
out?
him though. I mean, they
No,
knew them.
No, they knew him in New York a little bit because the Biggie's rep in New York, and they knew him in D.C. because Puff went to Howard.
Yeah,
but
you're
nobody,
right.
we didn't know them in Jersey.
You got a point.
You didn't know nothing about no Bad Boy until Flavor in Your Ear came out.
You got
That's
a point.
worldwide.
Well, you know what though, because I remember the joint was Super Cat.
The remix, when they hopped on that
Yeah.
remix over that Mary J beat or whatever, yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool. But you still ain't know who they was. I think Biggie had a Bad Boy jersey on in that
Yeah, they
video.
look crazy.
Why did he have a Bad Boy jersey on? Because nobody knew who Bad Boy was.
Right.
So he wanted to promote.
Right.
You feel me?
And that's what I'm saying. When he had his verse, which was like weird sounding, if you listen to Puffy's verse, he's like, yo, he looks like somebody I sold something to. But no, Puff, I love you. No problem.
Yeah, Puff, you're a mogul. Listen,
Yeah.
don't get it confused. Everybody we named is a mogul, and I respect you 1,000,000,000% because I couldn't do what you did. I didn't do what you did, or if I could, I would have did it. So I respect everybody that we talking about.
But he gave you 44%.
I gave him as being independent. I gave him 1,000% as being a successful label.
He's still your boy.
Yeah, he is. But going off the definition, listeners, viewers, going off the definition of independent label and hearing what I just said about Bad Boy, would you consider them an independent label? Would you?
No. Please subscribe. Smash that like button. Don't smash that dislike button.
All right, we're gonna do something different now. We always do the verse or the TV show or the trend or whatever. We're gonna let's do the best boss quotes. And when you say boss, you got to use your Rick Ross voice. Even though he wasn't in the 90s, you got to say boss quotes. You got a boss quote from one of these bosses for me? We got Master P. We got Jay Prince. We got Sean Combs, a.k.a. Brother Love. And we got Baby from Cash Money. Give me one from somebody. What we got?
Are we done or are we finished?
That's your favorite
Baby.
boss quote from Baby?
Are we done or are we finished?
Are we done or are we finished?
Put some respect on my name.
Excuse me. How about, I got one from Master P. Nobody has the power to change the past, but we all have the power to change our future. I think he was a prime example about that. That quote
Right.
kind of goes off his life because, allegedly, and I'm going to say allegedly because I don't want no trouble with nobody for nobody, but allegedly, he was a bit of a street dude. He had some street entrepreneurship.
Right.
And he ended up transferring that into the music business. He was successful as a label owner, independent and major. He was successful as an artist himself. Nigga made it to the NBA somehow. And he got his son got chips. And the chips are good.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't knock his hustle.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with you can't knock, man. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Talent wise, a little funny style, but for whatever reason, they made you like them. They made you like him, No Limit.
Yeah, his
Master
brother
P.
never rapped on beat. Silk
Never.
the Shocker. For y'all that don't know, Silk the Shocker was the original Blueface. Blueface need to give Silk his flowers. Without Silk, there's no Blueface. Silk never rapped on beat, dog.
Never. I remember he did a cameo with somebody, man. I was like, yo, what is going on here? But it was tough.
Silk never rapped on beat to the point that even his ad-libs was off, because sometimes his ad-libs would be on beat. And guess what? I still bought the album.
Yeah.
And I still played it in my car.
I got a Silk the Shock record.
I believe you.
A Silk the Shocker record. Damn. I fucked that up.
Let's get another quote.
I got a quote from Jay Prince, and I don't know it by heart, but I'm going to read off my iPhone. Okay. 2 things that are earned and cannot be bought. Respect and loyalty. Jay Prince.
Earned and cannot be bought. I buy that.
Yeah.
I buy that.
And you know what I mean? Like, that's like real day-to-day type stuff.
Facts.
Because I mean, I wouldn't want to buy loyalty or respect. You know, I just want somebody to respect me off of, you know, what I'm doing.
I mean,
so,
if you buy it, it ain't real.
Yeah.
If you buy it, you can't. Yeah, you can't. If you buy loyalty and respect, they're not loyal to you. They're loyal to what you could do to them, or they're faking it. And the respect, they're not respecting you. They're just playing a role so they can get that bread. That bread. I got one. I got one from Diddy. It says survival secret. It gets worse before it gets better. That hits home with me because there's a lot of artists that when it gets worse, they don't realize it's about to get better. So they tap out or they give up or they change their plan. And that ain't always how it's supposed to go. You got to go through something to get to something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That one, I just freestyled that off the top. That's my quote. Lock it in. We got to trademark that. Somebody, you got to go through something to get to something.
Do it quickly.
I like that. You got. I'm about to put that in my phone while you give them another quote. We got one from who we need. You got Jay. Oh, that's all 4 of them, isn't it?
Well, no. But
Who we missing?
Put some respect on his name. For Bird Gang. I got one here for you. Rich Gang is rich look.
What?
So all you rich, what I took out of that is you frontin' ass motherfuckers trying to look rich. Rich Gang is rich look. So he's talking about people's front.
Rich gang is rich look. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Who said that?
That's what Birdman said. Is we
Birdman?
done or we finished? I mean, we
Rich
got some
gang
crazy ones here, man.
Is a rich look.
I think that's for the frauds. That's how I took it. And I'm gonna look at this other one, man. He said, I was 12 years old, fitting to be a billionaire. I was 15 years old as a millionaire. I don't believe that, but okay.
I do. Them niggas allegedly was outside. Them niggas, what? Them niggas?
Maybe in the mind.
Listen, they was outside. And you gotta remember, not only the year it was, but they down south.
Yeah.
It was different for a 15-year-old down south than it was for a 15-year-old out here. We was in the jungle and all, but it's different out there.
Yeah, it is different.
Wayne at home playing with guns and ain't nobody even babysitting a nigga at 13. He bust his chest wide open. It was different out there.
Yeah.
The trap was crazy out there.
Billions, man.
He said he was a millionaire at 15.
Yeah. You know, he said he was a millionaire at 12, and he's a billionaire at 15.
No. I was 12 years fitting to be a billionaire.
Oh, fitting.
Meaning he wanted to. That's that
Went
down
over my
south
head.
lingo.
Yeah.
I was 15 years old as a millionaire.
You gotta say it like that. I was 15 as a billionaire, fitting to be.
Don't play with him. He gonna come in here and tell you put some respect on my quotes,
And
Wally.
as soon as him and his homies come here and walk right out the side door.
So
He
listen,
said it. The
man.
producer said it.
Listen, man. I gave you the info I had. We gave you our opinions and the info we had. Let me know if you feel like we wrong or I'm wrong about who's an independent label and who's not. I'm going to throw one more example out there that's not 90s orientated at all, but this just to show you where my head is at. Dag nabbit. Oh, Rostrum Records. No shade. And for those of you who don't know, that was the label Wiz Khalifa came out on, and rest in peace, Mac Miller.
Never heard of him.
Mac Miller got praised for going platinum independently. And I'm not talking bad about the Dead. His success in his music was great, but was he really independent? Because Rostrum Records had a huge deal with Atlantic Records for Wiz
Right.
Khalifa. So you have the pipeline to the machine and you have the funding from the machine for your label. Because Wiz didn't leave Rostrum and go to Atlantic. He signed to Atlantic through Rostrum.
Rostrum, yeah.
So technically Mac Miller wasn't independent.
They was just saying stuff.
I know y'all Mac Miller fans is gonna hate that I said that, but again, this has no slight to him as an artist or none of his music. I like Mac Miller. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. I'm just want to give everybody the information on independent versus a major. If you got ties to a major, help from a major, whether it's financially, marketing, promotion, or just the structure of the machine, in my opinion, which ain't the law, it ain't the code, but in my opinion, you're not independent. You're a sub-label. You're a subsidiary of the major. Just like when Cash Money did their first deal with Universal, they became a subsidiary of
Right.
Universal. So a lot of people get that confused with they're an indie label. They're an indie label. No, you're an indie label if you coming out of pocket.
Okay, so you know what, man? I know you was on a roll and got all excited.
Got in my zone.
Yeah, man. You got fired up. You did the old Michael Jordan jazz type thing. But we got to get out of here, man. Great stuff. Man, you know, we want to give a shout out to, you know, family, fans, supporters. Man, you make sure y'all hit that Patreon. You know, smash the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we got to pull up out of here and, you know, do the damn thing for the next show. Get ready, get
Word.
refreshed,
Word.
rewind.
Word.
Push the pause button, push the stop, then play, and let's get up out of here.
They could let it just play through. They don't got to stop it.
Oh yeah.
Listen, shout out to all the labels we talked about today. Again, great success. We ain't knocking, we ain't hating. Shout out to Leader of the Pack Productions. Shout out to the man that makes this all happen every week that we come see y'all, a.k.a. everyone's favorite plug, a.k.a. the man with the face too easy to trace, a.k.a. Mr. 2 a.m., none other than the Red Wolf.
Ow.
I was waiting for that.
Lefty,
Get us out of here, Slim.
lefty donut.